Welcome to the return of New York State Music in Motion. I'm your host, rocker Frank Palangi, here as we have a sit-down chat with artists from all over New York State. This season, we are sponsored by the Helpin' Friendly Salve, an all-natural herbal extract. You can check them out at thehelpinfriendlysalve.com. What's up, everybody? How you doing out there? New York State Music in Motion, Season 2. We got Donny Frauenhofer today. He's a multi-instrumentalist as well, different styles of music here from Buffalo, New York. What's going on, Donny? How you doing?
Not much, Frank. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be here, man. Yeah, it's good to be here.
No problem. You're rocking the green screen behind you.
Yeah, this is where I do some green screen stuff with a couple different bands and myself. So I figured, why not do it here? Hang out on the couch, get comfortable.
There you go. It's better than a chair.
Yeah.
I do have a pillow in back of me secretly.
Need that back support. Yeah, I got a couple here if I need them. Yeah.
Definitely. Do you have one? You ever got one of those gamer chairs? I don't know if those would help or not, but
I don't. I'm moving to a new place though, and I might upgrade because I've been seeing them online and on Twitter, and they look pretty sweet. Right now, I just have an old. It's a nice chair. It's a nice leather chair. It's got some nice armrests. Hydraulic lift, all the stuff you
fancy
want.
stuff. It's what drummers wish for when they drum in it, if they could. You know what I mean?
You don't have to spin it up and down.
Yeah, the lifts. They come in handy. I've seen they got Batman ones now. You can buy like the Batman chair. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. John Foll, one of the drummers that I play with in Intrepid Travelers, he has like a 2-part drum stool, and it's instead of a circle, it's kind of like fit to the shape of your butt, and it's got a back support piece, and I think it has a hydraulic lift and stuff. So
nice.
He's got the fancy drum throne. It's an official throne, It's
the Taj Mahal. Yeah. So what other instruments do you play? I know you play piano, and I've seen you playing guitar and singing some songs.
Yep, I do guitar. I can do some bass as well. Keyboard, that's like there's piano, and it's such a wide net. I even would consider, things like organ and like a Fender Rhodes different than like a grand piano. And then you have a melodica, which is a keyboard instrument you blow into, and that's, different as well, more like a harmonica. So there's all the keyboard web, I do all of that, but then acoustic guitar, a little bit of electric, but I'd consider myself much more of a rhythm guy. Bass, harmonica. I'm just starting to pick up clarinet and sax, but I'm told I have a pretty good embouchure, so I'm excited about that.
There you go. Jack all trades.
Yeah. I wouldn't call myself a drummer, but I can do percussion as well. When I was in college, I was in the West African drumming ensemble at Binghamton University, so I'm pretty comfortable with some percussion instruments.
So do you like bongos or djembes, congas, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, congas I like because there's, the conga, you get a very wide range of sound with just that one drum. I kind of prefer that rather than having, the 2 bongos, because you can just, you can get such a range of sounds in that. And honestly, I really liked playing the bell pattern when I was in the group. That was, kind of the person you'd play that pattern, and you were kind of responsible for holding it all together, even if it wasn't like the most obvious thing. So I kind of just like laying back and grooving on the bell.
Nice. Play a little triangle.
Yeah. I do a little triangle. Yeah.
I always felt bad for those guys in the pit. You have a huge orchestra, guys standing there with a triangle, but I'm like, what a great job, man.
Yeah, he could fall asleep. His buddy could just, elbow.
You imagine making money off of that? I played a triangle, man. I played in Hans Zimmer stuff. Everybody.
Hey, man, the way music is these days, I'd take it. An orchestra wants me to hire me to play triangle. I'll take that.
I believe it. Even some of the drum stuff, it's kind of scarce. Some of it, you'll have some hits here and there, or special instruments that do certain things like 3 times in a song,
Yeah, there's usually a timpani player, and then the separate player for the cymbals. There's a more official name. I haven't been in a classical orchestra.
Long time.
So I'm forgetting some of my jargon, but It's interesting, yeah, because the drum kit was kind of like the all of that put so one person could kind of just do it all in groove. So yeah.
Now, I listened to your music on SoundCloud, and it does range to like jazz, funk, lounge, and then your acoustic stuff too, which is kind of some song written about a truck.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that song actually I didn't write. I posted yesterday. Anyone that knows me, I'm a big comedy. I actually might be wearing a Yep, I'm wearing a Comedy Bang Bang shirt right now.
Okay, because I was like, that's kind of a spoof song, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Comedy Bang Bang, the TV show, and Scott Aukerman that does that. I'm a big fan, huge fan of the podcast. Been listening to it forever, and they have like it's kind of like a goofy show where it's supposed to be a talk show, but it's all like fake characters doing bits. It's very funny.
Okay.
Very offbeat though. And these guys came on and did that song. And the lyric in the song was it's 2:23, and it was about it being the truck's birthday. So yesterday was 2:23. I recorded it actually sitting right here and put it on line, and Comedy Bang Bang actually retweeted it, and it's I think got last time I checked, it had like 3,500 views in a day, which is pretty good.
That's cool. They shared the stuff. That's always your hope, you know.
I know, yeah. Anytime you're reaching up to someone that has, way more followers and a bigger audience, but they were cool. Yeah, they retweeted it, and it made my day. I was like texting all my friends. And,
check it out, dudes.
Yeah, and no one knows what Comedy Bang Bang is, so they're like, "What the hell? What are you bragging about?" Like, I'm like, "No, this made my week. Might have made my month or more. Who knows?"
You never know. Yeah. What's your background like musically?
So I started on piano. That's where I got my first. I started on lessons. I think around either late 6, early 7. Did it for a couple years. It kind of conflicted with at the time, I was just kid running around trying to play hockey and do sports. And, when you're a kid, you kind of try everything. I don't know how, when I was growing up, I got just kind of, my parents wanted us to do everything, do sports, do student, do
everything.
Yeah. They just wanted us to try everything so we could find out what we liked. So I got kind of wrapped up in sports, stopped taking lessons for a couple years, and then I just got the fire back in me in high school, started playing a lot more. By this time YouTube existed, so I didn't even have to hire a teacher. I could just go on and get lessons from there. And then it started with as simple as like rock music, and then getting into like blues, and just like kind of going backwards through the musical history to like jazz and classical, and kind of going full circle to a lot of the like classical stuff I was probably learning when I was very young. So
yeah, it is weird to think about that, how it's like you actually are working backwards, because it's not really a mainstream genre as classical jazz. It was 100 years ago. It was really, really in, and then times before that. But it's so weird to think that genres like that have been big for hundreds of years, that are kind of like, hear classical on the radio.
Yeah. It's like, I view music as interesting because it's an art form, but it's such a wide one, especially with like pop music and stuff. And you could say this about other art forms, but I always took the approach like a painter. Like if you wanted to be a very good painter, you had to like go back and learn all the techniques to kind of do something new.
Mm-hmm.
The example people always use is like Picasso. If you look at his Blue Period and stuff, he was making like very realistic, by the book, like great art school painting. And he went to art school and was one of the most well-taught painters of his time. But then what he did with the art form was it revolutionized everything. It was brand new. No one
did his own thing after. Yeah.
So I always had that approach. Like by late high school, I was very into jam music and jazz. I was very into like all types of prog and jam, whether like modern stuff like like Fish or Humphreys, or even like older stuff like Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Genesis, all that. And then that kind of like brought me, and then I was also into jazz and like very into Miles Davis and learned his background, the Juilliard, and I was very into Herbie Hancock. He had a classical background. So it kind of pushed me in a way where I was like, well, I should also, learn this stuff. And so I just kind of took the approach where I started loving every kind of music and saw the value, saw each genre for what it was and where the value was in it.
Yeah. You do music full time now?
Yeah, I do. I kind of like wear 10 hats in a day. It's fun. I love it. Like today is a good example. This morning I'm a ballet accompanist at UB. So in the basement of their fine arts center of the arts building, I basically improvise like classical-esque piano music for ballet dancers.
Oh, okay.
The instructor will show them like the repertoire, the moves that they're doing, the combination, and then she'll kind of like count out or give me a feel or give me a tempo or sing a melody like and I'll just like go off and start playing.
So it's improvised. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, like it's improvised, but then you kind of learn. When I first started, I really, I've been doing it for about 2 years, 2.5. When I first started, I had no clue. Someone recommended me and was like, "You're good." And my thing was like, "Okay, I can learn." And I asked the person that hired me, like, "Hey, does the library have a book of ballet piano music?" And so went in, learned some of that. In the first, semester, I applied a lot of that and was, I'm going to be honest, not good at following dancers. I was going through the motions, but like anything, I got better. And now when I remember when I started, the teacher's like, eventually you'll see it's like a breathing thing between you and the dancers. You're not always like playing like you're not just the click track for them.
Yeah, on the beat. Yeah.
So that was very interesting and rewarding, and I'd like to think I'm getting pretty good at it now, or they haven't fired me yet, so it must be.
So is there moments where you do it and it's like you I know what you mean. You feel the pause, sort of. You feel that the beats, natural beats.
Yeah, it's like it's not like electronic dance music where it's just
yeah, you follow it, and
it has that classical feel where the music does like maybe it like it slows down, does a little retard or something at the end of a measure before resolving, especially at the end of a tense chord. So yeah, like that's one of the hats I wear. And then after I did that this morning and yesterday, I came home and I made that acoustic guitar thing in like an hour. Put it out fun.
Nice.
And I have like stuff I do online for my Patreon supporters. Before COVID happened, I had like a 7 to 10 piece band of my own, my trio, which you've listened to some of that music is set on Spotify.
Yep.
And also
Intrepid
Travelers, yes. Yeah. And just a bunch of other projects. Like tonight after this, I'm actually heading to a rehearsal at Ryan Nogle, who is the drummer for Functional Flow, another great Buffalo band. Shout out Functional Flow. And we're in a band together that's kind of like a super group doing Night of the Allman Brothers at the Tralf. So
okay.
I start off my day like
that's cool.
Ballet, like classical ballet in the morning, all coffeeed up, nice and sharp, and then tonight rehearsal at 7:30. Might have a beer or something, loosen up, play some Allman Brothers.
I like a night of the reminds me of Night of the Living Dead or something like that.
Yeah, it's just
that's cool.
I go out of the ballet thing, rip off the tux, and I have my t-shirt
on. Like the long hair go.
yeah. No, I put it up for ballet. I got it down for this. I mean,
yeah. Well, I think in your acoustic video, I don't know if you had your hair up or back or something like that. And when I seen you today, I was like, "Is this the same guy?"
Yeah, I had it up and it was like squished under my headphones, which I think we have the same ones. Do you have Audio Technicas?
Cat audio I use.
Oh, okay. Because I have white ones just that look
They do
very
look similar.
the hinges on them. Yeah.
I think M40 I used to have a pair of those.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't remember the other ones. That was one of the cheaper ones when I was first starting out. I was like, yeah, they're pretty good, you know. But I like some of the ones. Anybody out there, like $100 headphone range is probably where you want to be at. There's some really good ones there. The ones that are cheaper are, you know, they're all right. But
Yeah, no, I like the Audio Technicas I have. I forget what model they have. I think they were originally marked like at 200, but because of Black Friday, I got them for like 150 or something.
yeah,
They're great. They're multi-use where it has, you know, the 1/4 inch and a very long cable, so I can use it in studio settings. I'm going to use it tonight at the rehearsal space because it's all like inboard. And you know, it has a shorter cable or a twisty one if I'm just playing through an amp or I'm just plugged into my phone or my, you know, iPod or whatever.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah. So
I always thought they should come up with a headphone that right here, this disconnects like,
well, mine do.
oh, yours
Yeah,
does, and you can do different cables.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
I was asking. I was going to grab those if I needed headphones, but yeah, they disconnect here and like lock in the different sized cords. So it's
That's awesome. Yeah, because I don't. Some instances, this cord is a pain in the butt. You know, you want one of those coily ones, or you want it to be all of a sudden wireless for a little bit, you know, or something like that.
Yeah, and plus that, you know, that it's such a if it breaks at that point, your headphones are like it's either a pain in the ass fix or they're junk. Like,
Yeah,
so I love that anytime something detaches where it eliminates like the ability for something to like simple to break and ruin the whole thing. Like
yeah.
I'm all in. Because if one of those breaks off, I can kind of just like detach it and take it out and just get a new like thing. You know?
Yeah, you don't have to throw away the whole headset.
I don't know if everyone's as clumsy as me and like gets the cords caught in a door handle like every day. Like, my headphones
Maybe
fly out.
well, you can step on it like live too, and then pull it right out or something, and it's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Have
It's
you
got-
live? Do you use cords? I mean, is there wireless keyboard rigs?
I mean, they have wireless 1/4 inches and stuff like that, but I've never messed with them. I like to play sitting down, so I have 1/4 inches for everything. Depending on the gig, I can go anywhere from 1 to 3 keyboards for what the music calls for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you do separate outs for those, or those all link into something that go to a board?
Yeah, I again like multiple rigs for like what it calls for. There was a time I would use like a miniature mixers and I put all three
Yeah.
all 3/4 inches in there and just give a sound guy left and right. That's what I call training wheels for the sound guy because they don't like to hear this, but some of them wouldn't do my mix how I like. Now in Buffalo, I don't have to use that much. Most of the sound guys I work with here not only are phenomenal, but very open. You know, it's an open dialogue where if, you know, I say I want something, there's no offense. And if they tell me they can't do it or something, like
Yeah.
I have the numbers of a lot of them. I'll play at sports bins and I'll text Tony, one of the sound guys, and be like, hey, can I do my Hammond XK1 like you know, stereo tomorrow? I know I only do it mono normally, but yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered. Never gotten that where you come across sound guys and, like you said, you offend them if you're like, well, my guitar sound is I like it stereo. Can you add like an extra mic, or can you pan it left?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why.
Another chord and tune it. Hey,
Then they're like, we hate you, and then they screw up
Yeah.
your sound.
if any sound guys watching this are like, whoa, 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 don't paint us with that broad of a brush. I've done sound before. I consider myself a sound guy. I've done it at least a number of times with friends and on my own for Intrepid. And so I empathize. Yes, you know, you're working with a 6-piece band, everyone's talking to you at once. It can be annoying. But hey, we're all working on the same team.
Exactly. Because it's true. I think something as simple as a stereo, especially one guitarist, if you want a stereo sound, it shouldn't be too much of a big deal. Because normally there's 2 or 3 guitarists in a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, not at all. And I mean, too, you know, if you're a sound guy in a quality venue, then most bands coming through there know what the hell they're doing. So
Yeah. Yep.
that's I think at least.
Yeah. Hope so, anyways. What
Yeah.
are some of the venues that you've played up there or just around New York?
Oh, with Intrepid Travelers, because that's like the main band I've traveled with. We've played, we've played in Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester. That there's a lot of venues to name. I'd say I'll start with my favorite in Buffalo though, and especially the ones that are open right now for COVID. Right now, all that's really going on that I know of in Buffalo is Sportsman's Tavern and the Cave, which is actually part of Sportsman's Tavern, but a different venue behind it. So they've throughout the pandemic change. If food was required to get drinks, they're pumping food out for people. They have done everything to follow all the state guidelines. And in the most responsible way, be able to have music there every time, you're there. Everyone gets temperature checked and has to, sign off, and everyone's spread out, masks on. They've done a great job. Yeah.
It's like an alien world.
I know. That's the thing. I'm thinking of all these venues I played at. I might start naming some that don't exist. And that's the sad reality.
Yeah. Like, or they couldn't, even if they wanted to have music like that, they can't because they just don't have the space. They don't have the floor plan.
Yeah, and so many aren't restaurants. They're just places that serve alcohol. And
there's like none up here. I think there's one place here to Albany that has tried to have indoor music, but there's nothing.
Yeah, no. So it's tough, but the Trail from Buffalo, they're open sporadically and doing their thing. I get to rattle off some Buffalo venues. Town Ballroom, one of the best, but their future I'm not sure about. Although I hope they'll be doing their thing. Buffalo Ironworks has always been a great place to play at as well. I haven't heard. I know over the summer their team was kind of putting on some drive-through shows in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So that was cool, but they've been pretty quiet throughout the winter, so not sure. I don't know. A lot of things are up in the air. I've played. I'm trying to think. Albany, where I played. Was it the Parish House? I think.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I played there with Intrepid Travelers a long time ago, and there might be another place that escapes me.
There was Savannah's. There was in the mall. There was Jupiter Hall for a little while recently. I'm trying to think of that. There was another place, Blue 82. What's the one that went out of business? A lot of people went to. I think it started with a J. I can't remember. Yeah. I know a lot of people would know it, but anyway, there was a lot of acts there. You've probably been there too. Right on the downtown strip there.
Yeah. No, that sounds familiar because I feel like we've played at another place besides the Parish House, but
the Bayou or the Hollow. That's right there.
The Hollow, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Been there. Yeah. No, that place was cool. Yeah. That's the thing. I'm wondering how many of these venues are gonna be around after this, where I'm hoping, but I know a lot of people are hurting, so
yeah, it's I don't know what they're gonna do. Like you said, everything's up in the air, and you follow everything, and then all it takes is, it's kind of like in school, right? All it takes is one bad dude to ruin it for the class, right? So it's the same thing. It's one thing, and then all of a sudden they're shut down for however 15, 30 days, and they got to go through and clean everything and yada yada. And they got no business for that month, and they're not getting any help from anybody, you know, the state or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, the government action has been incredibly slow. I mean, the one
Even
thing,
for us musicians,
yeah,
there's been nothing, and they've acknowledged that both presidents have, and it's yeah, I don't know, we're just sitting here wasting away.
yeah. I know people that didn't even get, you know, everyone's saying like, where's the other 1,400 or 2 grand? You know, I know people that, you know, are musicians that didn't even get the 600, and they keep checking the IRS website, and it's like, oh, you'll get it as a tax refund, and they're like,
Yep,
what?
you gotta
Like,
apply for it. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, it's, you know, we could harp on this forever, but I'm just hoping we're on the other side of the tunnel now that the vaccine is, you know, more people are getting it. You know, my mom just got her, you know, her both doses, and she's all good. My girlfriend Ellen Peroni, who's also a big musician, she's got her, you know, vaccine scheduled tomorrow. I'm trying to get mine scheduled. It's a little more difficult. It's one of those things. It seems like you might need to know somebody, but as long as
Yeah.
everybody gets vaccinated and we can open these venues up, then
I
I'll do
think
whatever it takes.
this summer it might be a little easier for stuff to happen that's distanced and that kind of stuff too. Inside, it's just either way. Inside is to me too risky because you're inside. Everybody's breathing the same air and that kind of junk. So outside, it feels like it's a little bit more doable. You know.
Yeah, there was in Buffalo outside. It was not only for certain venues and bars loosening up, but also a lot of neighborhood places. People were being like, "I want to see music. We can't go see it at, like, you know, Larkin Square or any of these big places in Buffalo." So they were just having acts like on their front lawn, and
Yeah.
going around with a tip jar, and, you know, people would, you know, go around there and be responsible. And honestly, some of the best treatment, I think, myself and any of the musicians I played in local bands, was this past summer. Some of those like tip only shows that people were very, very, you know, generous. So, you know, some of those gigs I got paid more than we would have like a bar gig or something.
Wow.
It goes
It's a
you
good
know,
thing.
yeah, you take music away from people, and, you know, people kind of realize, I guess, how important it really is.
Yeah, I've noticed that with digital streaming, and like I came back to I do stageit.com. I've recently been doing Facebook, but Stage It, and I've been doing since September. I've been hitting records, sold out shows for online stuff, and I just can't believe it. I'm like, well, this, I don't know if it's because of that or it's, you know, it's all depends on the music and the artist and stuff, but I've been noticing there's a lot of people, they tune in more. They're more accepted of it because before it seems like I had to kind of persuade people into seeing an online gig or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it definitely was that. I think people thought it was weird, and then when you know, a year ago or 11 months, whatever, when everything shut down, I think people, you know, realized that that's what they wanted. And yeah, I experienced too in the beginning of, if I'm really going back, I did like some weekly streams with, and Ellen and I as a duo. This was when we were very tight lockdown, and those, you know, people treated us well. We got a lot of viewership. Those were mainly through Facebook, and that was even before, I think, you know, in the past year that they've built that like infrastructure now where you can like charge people for an online stream event and things.
Yeah, I've done two of them. Honestly, I haven't gotten paid yet.
Oh, it takes forever. We just got
Yeah.
paid for, like, we sold out a show at a real venue in the summer, and we're like, oh well, it, you know, it was at like 1/3 capacity. We'll stream it for extra, and I think we just got paid from that like June thing, like a month ago.
Wow.
Like, so yeah, Facebook is.
It says 30
I'm trying
days
to
from
go
the
with
event. I don't believe that though. I mean, now it's been, because I did one in January, and it's definitely been more than 30 days.
Yeah, yeah. I've been myself and Intrepid Travelers, who actually does a weekly live stream every Tuesday, except the last one because Fish does that one, and we kind of play similar, you know,
Yeah. Yep.
style, you know. So they do that, and we often tune in, so we let them have the last one. But we've been trying to stretch out more on like Twitch and YouTube and other places where it seems like monetization has more of a future. I personally am, trying to make an effort to not zero in on Facebook as much as I used to. I think myself and even Instagram, a lot of musicians kind of might have zeroed in on that. And if I can say one thing I've realized from streaming, there's so much out there,
Yeah, too much.
So many platforms.
Yeah. I don't know. Facebook is it's even over the pandemic. I feel like kind of Facebook is kind of dead. There's just not as much interaction, and it's not letting the content go out there. There's actually those algorithms that stop everything, and it's starting to happen on Instagram, and they're choking themselves,
Well, they've turned into like a debate platform for
I don't know,
or like selfie pic, like it's not, again, there's some value there if people are looking for certain things, but if we're talking music and what can help the musician, I think we're on the same page that place is kind of dead.
Look out for Twitter though, because Periscope's going away, so I guess it's going to be direct to Twitter, so that might be a new thing too. And there, who knows, maybe they'd be a little bit more open, because I know tweets and stuff, there's not as much blocker on it,
Yeah, Twitter is definitely more of from my experiences, it's much more of the timeline is much more of I don't know, free for all is the right word, but they're looser. Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's on right now. Whoosh, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
in the moment. Now you've got some nominations for some festivals too, music festivals I saw.
I think in my bio that was just festivals I've played in the past. It's as like kind of my resume, if I'm counting them as achievements. That's actually something though Intrepid and myself is reaching out to. We're kind of seeing what the future is of a lot of these festivals. The big one Intrepid Travelers played at before we took about a 1.5-year hiatus was summer camp. And if we could get back in that'd be a dream. But that size of a festival,
like, 2 years from now.
Maybe that'll be good. We can build up some steam, so show we belong back by then. Locally, the Lewiston, now known as the Northwest Jazz Festival, that I've been a frequent performer at with my trio or other jazz acts, and I don't know what the future is of that. I've been sending emails, contacting. We've been, I've talked to some people in Buffalo too about, standard summertime events, the places that, pay good and people come to see good live music, and you can not only have people enjoy your music, but get new fans, and it's paid, you're not just playing for the
ticket sales.
Those nice summer events we all love. There's, again, so much is up in the air. The one thing, like I said, is Buffalo's making an effort is this, skirting of the, basically combining the music venue and the restaurant experience as one, where a lot of these venues are turning into restaurants that have music as well, because people can be spread out and sit down. Every place has, I don't know if you're allowed to dance. It says no dance.
I wonder if the I mean, it's always been in where I've done them, the acoustic guys there, at restaurants and stuff playing. I wonder if that's going to be a little more popular and even a little more intimate than it used to be. Cause now it's kind of like, we're all stuck in a room together and there's only so many people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's more about maybe the experience rather than, I always felt like people going out to dinner that night wanted to go out to dinner and they didn't really want the music. They're there, they might listen or they might complain about it or something like that. But I feel like now maybe they'll be there to actually listen and kind of be a part of it rather than just, I'm here playing cover songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like you said, there's that, you do that to make the bread. You know, I feel like any working musician, like, you know, there's those gigs like that where you do it and yeah, people are just kind of, you know, back turned to you at the bar or whatever, and
Yep.
it's like, hey, here I am just playing. So I the reception I've got is great in Buffalo. Again, like traveling, touring, national festivals, all that's off the table, and I don't know. So that's why I've been, you know, holing up in my green screen room, making
There you go.
anything to go viral at this point and try to get some ads on your videos. That's kind of what unfortunately musicians are being, you know, cornered to, is, you know, live streaming, merch sales, you know, I'm streaming on Spotify. I mean, that doesn't pay, you know,
No, no.
or like,
Even YouTube.
yeah, or like content on ads, and like for that you pretty much like you're looking at like becoming a YouTuber and like a TikToker and just putting out like, you know, a video or 3 videos a day. Like, you know, it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool, but it's kind of going against being an artist too. And you're like, now you're just focused on digital content. You're like, you just have to throw out stuff to throw out stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see, you know, Breaking Benjamin, Three Doors Down, Aerosmith, those guys like putting stuff out every day. Even like they might make a post, I don't know, twice a week or something. Cause that's, you need, I don't know, still the mystery thing's going away, and kind of, there's too much content to keep up with once again, the algorithm.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's you're right. But going back to, you know, with your original point, maybe that all is pointing that people might be, you know, enjoying the acoustic guitarist in the corner even more now. And, you know, like I've said, we've gone around with tip jars and people are generous. Also, if side note, any musicians, go around with a tip jar at set break. Don't just like hide outside and have your smoke or your beer. Like, listen, and they do this in New Orleans, New York City, all the music cities. Like, and the worst that's going to happen is they don't give you $1. Most people, if you get in their face, they feel bad enough and will give you that $1. So at set break, instead of grabbing your drink first, again, go around and be like, hey, I'm a working musician. Anything counts, anything at all. And if you can't, like, that's fine. Like, I swear, as soon as I started doing that for any type of, you know, little side gigs, whether it, you know, I was up front playing in a duo or solo, you know, I would, you know, make much more, you know, and it's not always too just like getting in people's faces. Sometimes people just are shy or want to tip you and forget because they're having a great conversation at a bar, you know?
Yeah. I just feel like I don't want to be that guy going around doing that, you know?
You don't, but you do. Trust me.
Yeah.
Because, and, you know, it's very eye-opening, you know, going to, you know, taking trips to some major music cities and see, yeah, especially in New Orleans, like incredible jazz musicians that like are, you know, for them, you know, they're, I don't know if it's you know, a source of pride or whatever, but they don't, you know, think they're above it. And not saying people like think they're above it. Everyone has their own level of like shyness and comfortability, but I think, you know, now more than ever, you know, go on and you know, see if people, even if you don't get, you know, ask for tips, go out and talk to people, see if they're enjoying it. I've learned, like, rather, like when I was younger, I used to take my set break and just like go in a corner, like, and now I'm like, I should talk to these random people, that, especially if you see people like clapping, like go over and talk to them, and like, and maybe you'll get a follow on Instagram, maybe you'll check out that cool new video you made, you know?
Yep.
I think more and more that actually is the entry to the digital world, rather than relying on the algorithm, is playing those shows outside, having that personal connection now that you're talking about intimately, and then being like, I made this cool stuff online I really love. Go check it out, and you know, like it, and support me on Patreon or buy some merch or whatever you know would like to do.
I agree. Definitely works. Got to go around and talk to everybody. Can't be the guy you know, in the back somewhere. But what's hard as a singer is if you're singing 3-4 hours and then your breaks, you're going around and you're talking to people and then you're talking afterwards, sometimes you can't. So at least in a band, you know, if you have a bass player and he doesn't sing or something, maybe he'll do it for the band. But that's the one thing that if my voice lasted forever, I'd definitely do it a lot more. But it's definitely tough because then they turn the music back on, right? It's loud and you got to talk loud and you lose your voice pretty quick.
Right. If you're someone that's playing, like a 3-hour, 3-set show, especially if you're doing pop tunes where, you know, there's no instrumental breaks and you're singing, you know, the 2-3 minute tunes, you're singing like 15, 20 songs a set, like, and doing 2 or 3 sets in a night. So
yeah,
you're right. So as with everything, take this advice with a grain of salt.
Have somebody do it for you.
Yeah, I'm talking to, because a lot of my experiences playing up front is I sing once in a while, but I will. It's like the piano bar mentality where there's like some ragtime, some song stuff, and then some like jazz. Like,
yep.
So a lot of it, if I don't want to sing, I'll just play some like instrumental stuff or upbeat stuff. You know, depending on the mood. You know, every room's different because, like I've said, I've been in a bar where you want to play, you know, some hit stuff that, you know, people might like and recognize, and then hit them with some originals when you got their attention. And then there's other times where I'm like, this is a restaurant, very nice restaurant. I'm just a jazz piano player. I'm just gonna
you're just gonna do your thing.
Yeah. Hopefully people like it.
Nice. Well, thanks, man, for coming on. I appreciate it. And everybody out there, make sure you check him out on social media, right? Donnie's on SoundCloud. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook and a bunch of other places. So, and he's got a lot of bands. So make sure you check all them out too. And hopefully, I don't know, we'll be out there somewhere rocking and rolling this year. But I appreciate you guys tuning in for season 2 here. And we'll talk to you soon. Donnie, any last words? Feel free, man.
All right. If I could just have a quick plug, tune in the first, second, and third Tuesday of every month to Intrepid Travelers. That's a jam band I play in. We do live streams, professional lights, the whole stuff. And if you really, really like what I make after checking it out, I have a Patreon. And I love everyone that likes my music. Subscribe to that. Support me directly. There's all tons of content you won't get elsewhere. I'm actually starting in March as a celebration of my first year on Patreon, a new thing where every week I'll be creating a piece of music at least 1 minute in length, and it'll be determined and inspired by chance. Now, what I mean by that is I'll come up with a series of notes, either by picking them out of a hat or a random number generator. Maybe I'll come up with an 8th note rhythm with something random like that. It's all going to be based on chance. You're going to see my process. You're going to have videos on the process. And I'm going to post it on Monday, what my process is. And by the end of the week, Saturday, I'll have my 1 minute or more piece of music. And it's really meant to just inspire any other musicians to, you know, do some weird stuff, challenge our stuff, and make some music out of some weird random combinations we might have never thought of in the first place.
That's cool. Never thought of that. Just pick stuff and then deal with it.
Do it. Chance works great. But thank you so much. I'm sorry if that was a long plug. Thanks, Frank.
Right.
It's been awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't forget this. New York State Music. They sponsor a funk night every second Thursday at the Cave in Buffalo, New York. So if you live in Buffalo, it's 2 sets of music, some of the best players in Buffalo. Shout out Pete Mason for hooking that up with us. Shout out New York State. And I think that's it for my plugs. So thank you again, Frank. Sorry.
All right, man. See you guys. Thanks very much.
Later.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our pages, NewYorkStateMusic.com. Stream and support.